Last year, I went to Vietnam. Um, Between September, so I went from 26th September to 8th of October. How did I get the visa? It was so easy to get the visa last year. Trust me. I got the visa within 3 days. So all I did was I went on the site, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. I went on the site, and their government site, because there's an embassy in Denmark, right? So I was applying from Denmark, so I thought it would be easier. There's an embassy in Denmark, but the embassy doesn't take or doesn't accept applications for visas, which is strange, because then what's the use of the embassy? So I had to go to their site, their immigration site. So I'm going to show you how I did that. Okay, so this is how to apply for an e-visa from Vietnam. So you go to this website. This is the Vietnam immigration website. Yes, you would see a lot of agents online with various websites, but those agents are middlemen. You're going to pay more. But usually the main Vietnam website is $25 for short stay, single entry. I think multiple entry is $60. Yes. So, but then the other agents or the agencies, you will pay more. Okay, so you want the e-visa, you go here, e-visa for foreign nationals, and then this pop-up would come. So this pop-up is just some rules and things. So applicants must declare sufficiently, blah, 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 in English, okay? And then you need to these are the border gates you would enter if you want to go to Vietnam: land, sea, air, and then you just need to confirm that you're going to comply with the laws and everything. Then you click next. Now, this is the application. You have to fill the application form. So these two are the first things you have to upload. First, a passport picture, which should be 4 by 6 centimeters in JPEG format. Very important, because the Apple pictures now, the pictures that your iPhone would take may not be in JPEG format. So you need to convert it. And then it should be less than 2 megabytes with a straight face, no hat, no glasses, blah, blah, blah. And then this is your passport. But the system should be able to clearly match the picture here with your passport. If you don't get at least 60% match, it's going to reject this picture. So make sure you have a number of pictures so that at least you can get it to match. And then the next is your personal information: your surname, middle name, date of birth, your sex, nationality, all those things, right? And then you have to enter your email. Very, very important, because you receive an account to be created for you with your email, and then you receive any form of like updates, or even your e-visa, you receive it by mail. Okay, have you ever used any other passports? I guess if you click on yes, you would have to maybe indicate the passport number of your old passport. And then, do you have multiple nationalities? Violation of any laws? I'm guessing if you're applying for this, you probably haven't violated any law. And if you want to, so single entry, multiple entry, so you need to indicate when you want the e-visa to be valid, from when to when, because most of the time, if it's your first visit, they will give you exactly the duration you request for, right? So passport information again. So let's say passport number, issuing authority, the country, and then the type. I guess if it's an ordinary, diplomatic, date of issue, date of expiry, your contact information, of course, your permanent address, contact address, um, okay, your full name, stuff like this. And then, okay, so this is an emergency contact: full name, relationship, and stuff with your emergency contact. And then your occupation, you just enter over here. Information about the trip, purpose of entry. Usually I'll choose tourist, because if you choose business, you would have to indicate if you have a sponsor, right? You need a sponsor to get a business visa. Indicate intended date of entry should also match the visa duration you requested for. Length of stay, you count the number of days you intend to stay. Phone number in Vietnam. Usually I would use the hotel I'm going to stay in, their contact details over here, their province, ward, and all these things. You will get them online. So just look for the hotel you intend to stay in and ask for find out their province, their ward or commune. Usually it's even in Google Maps, but is kind of specific to each place. Intended board, uh, intended border gate of entry. Usually, I'll use Noi Bai International Airport. That's Hanoi. If you are using Ho Chi Minh, if you are entering through Ho Chi Minh, it's over here. Maybe with Ho Chi Minh, this is seaport, but you probably have to find the airport if you are using you are going there by plane. And okay, you just have to tick this, of course. And if you plan to contact any, usually I'll add my hotel here again because I plan to contact the hotel. Yes, so it's an organization. Have you been to Vietnam? Yes or no? And if you have any children accompanying you, and then the trip expenses. Did you buy insurance? Definitely click yes. And then who will cover? You can choose personal or company, and then you click next. So after you fill this, the next would be a page for you to review all this information, and then you take your time, look at it to see if you need to fix any mistakes, and then you go to the payment. So like I mentioned earlier, multiple single entry is $25, multiple entry is $60, I think. So you can do this. So the thing is, if you want to use middlemen, they might make it easier, but I mean, when I did this the first time, it was really easy, to be honest. It was extremely easy. I got my visa in 3 days. Yes, but then the last time I did it, it didn't work because I didn't know that Vietnam had put a silent ban on most African countries or most African visas. So, African passports, yeah. All right, so this is the very easy way to apply for an e visa for Vietnam. Last year, I did this and I was able to get the visa within 3 days. So this year, I did the exact same thing. But for some reason, I just kept getting this email. I kept getting the same email over and over. This is the email I got. If you are entering the country for tourism purposes, please provide complete information. Travel agency you plan to contact, blah, 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 blah. And I did this several times. I kept updating the information, and I was still getting this same email over and over. You can see it over here. I got the same email over and over. I got it 4 times. So I was confused. I was wondering what was going on. So I decided to contact a lot of travel agents. And I have a Ghanaian passport. Even though I have a Nigerian name, I have a Ghanaian passport because my mother is Ghanaian. So, of course, and I grew up in Ghana. So I have a Ghanaian passport. So it's supposed to be easier, right? Maybe easier than the Nigerian passport because I know there's no embassy in Ghana. There's no Vietnam embassy in Ghana, but there's a Vietnam embassy in Nigeria, right? So I know Nigerians, they may have it a bit easier to contact the embassy, but right. So what did I do? I started reaching out to so many travel and tour agencies. I reached out to so many of them. And some of them will not even say anything. They'll just say, we are afraid that we cannot support your request. Please handle it on your own immigration site. So I just kept getting the same message. I tried to reach out to another company who could help me at least get a business visa if the tourism visa was not working out. But it was after I had wasted so much time, that's when I realized that the Vietnamese people had, or the Vietnamese government had blacklisted all African countries. Can you imagine? And they didn't say anything. They made us waste our time and our efforts applying on their websites. And honestly, and so I reached out to a friend of mine because she's a travel agent, and it turns out that some Ghanaians and some Africans were overstaying their visa, which is so frustrating. I don't know. When people do this, it just like feels so selfish and unfair because I had a 10-day or I had a visa for 13 days, but I made sure I stayed within 10 days and I was out just because I really had plans to go back again this year for business. It's not even a pleasure visit because last time when I went, I didn't do any tourist activity. It was all business. But here's the case. I can't go again this year. All because a few people decided to overstay they are welcome. It's really frustrating. And I really hope that the Vietnam embassy or the Vietnam government would lift this ban very soon, because aside the business, Vietnam is a really beautiful country. Everybody is welcoming. Everybody is like, the country is so peaceful. You go there, you don't feel like there's too much happening. Because when I went last time, I was able to go within Bakni, which is more like a rural area, not really in the city. But I walked around. I felt safe. I didn't feel targeted. Everything was quite affordable. I spent just $5,000 for my 10-day hotel stay. Taxis were easy. Everything was so nice. So Vietnam is a really nice country. And aside that, even though I didn't take part in a lot of the tourist activities, a lot of people swear by the tourist activities in Vietnam. It was really, really nice. So it's very sad that because of a few people, some of us cannot go again this year. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this video was enlightening, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Like and share this video. And of course, I plan to have a, a touring trip to Vietnam once the ban is lifted. I'm going to take a few people with me to Vietnam to visit specific hair factories, and I'm going to impact everything that I have learned over 7 years in the industry. I'm going to impact it into others. Once the ban is lifted, I'm going to announce when this trip is going to happen, and make sure you stay tuned. And if you can, if you own a hair business in Ghana, in Nigeria, make sure you're a part of this trip, because trust me, my trip to Vietnam, it really opened my eyes, and I know you would want the same for you and for your business. So as usual, let's keep building the business of our dreams, and I'll see you later. Bye.